What happens when the most dominant champion in women's wrestling is forced to give up everything she fought for? Not in the ring, but because her own body betrayed her. This is the heartbreaking story of how Becky Lynch lost it all in seconds. What's up, Wrestling-verse family? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell because we bring you the biggest stories, the hottest takes, and the most in-depth analysis in professional wrestling. Today, we're diving into one of the most emotional moments in recent WWE history. We're talking about the man, Becky Lynch, and the devastating injury that forced her to relinquish her championship. This isn't just about losing a title. This is about a warrior who had to surrender her crown without even getting the chance to fight for it. Let's break down everything that happened, what it means for Becky's legacy, and where the man goes from here. Before we talk about the fall, we need to understand just how high Becky Lynch had climbed. Becky Lynch didn't start as the man. She started as a performer who had to scratch and claw for every opportunity. For years, she was overshadowed, underestimated, and overlooked. But Becky had something that couldn't be taught: heart, determination, and an unbreakable will. When she finally turned the corner and embraced that raw, rebellious energy, everything changed. She became the man. Not a woman in wrestling. Not a female superstar. The man. The top dog. The face of the company. Her rise to the top was meteoric. She main evented WrestleMania. She held championships. She became one of the most popular wrestlers on the entire roster, male or female. Fans didn't just cheer for her, they believed in her. She represented everyone who ever felt like they had to fight twice as hard to get half the recognition. Becky Lynch was more than a champion. She was a movement. She was proof that if you refuse to quit, if you refuse to be silenced, you can reach the top of the mountain. And that's what makes what happened next so absolutely devastating. Professional wrestling is beautiful, but it's also brutal. These athletes put their bodies on the line every single night. They perform through pain, through exhaustion, through injuries that would sideline most people for months. But sometimes, the body says no more. For Becky Lynch, that moment came when she suffered an injury that would force her out of action. The exact nature of these injuries can vary, but what matters is this: she couldn't defend her title. She couldn't compete. And under WWE rules, if you can't defend your championship, you have to give it up. Imagine that for a second. Imagine working your entire life for something. Imagine finally achieving your dream. Imagine holding that championship and knowing you're the best in the world. And then, in an instant, through no fault of your own, through nothing you did wrong in the ring, you have to hand it all back. No final match. No retirement ceremony. No chance to go out on your shield like a warrior should. When Becky Lynch walked out to that ring, you could see it in her eyes. This wasn't a storyline. This was real emotion. This was a fighter who had to face the hardest truth in sports. Sometimes, your body can't keep up with your heart. The crowd knew it too. You could hear the sadness in the arena. Fans were chanting her name, not in celebration, but in solidarity. They were telling her, "We see you. We appreciate you. We'll be here when you come back." But in that moment, Becky had to do one of the hardest things any champion has ever done. She had to say goodbye. The actual relinquishment was gut-wrenching to watch. Becky stood in the middle of that ring, holding the title that meant everything to her. She didn't want sympathy. She didn't want pity. That's not who Becky Lynch is. But you could see the weight of the moment crushing down on her shoulders. She addressed the fans directly. She thanked them for their support. She talked about what that championship meant to her, what it represented. It wasn't just gold and leather. It was validation. It was proof that she belonged at the top. And then she had to let it go. There's something uniquely painful about watching a champion relinquish a title due to injury. When someone loses in the ring, at least they got to fight. At least they got a chance. But when you have to hand over your title because your body won't let you compete, that's a different kind of defeat. Becky Lynch didn't lose. She didn't get pinned. She didn't tap out. But she still had to walk away empty-handed. The wrestling business has seen this before. We've seen legends forced to retire early. We've seen champions stripped of titles they never lost in the ring. But every single time, it hurts. Because we know these performers don't want sympathy. They want to compete. They want to fight. And Becky Lynch, more than almost anyone, is a fighter. The moment she placed that title down, you could feel something shift. The era of the man as champion had come to an end, not with a bang, but with a heartbreak. So where does this leave Becky Lynch in the grand story of professional wrestling? Here's the truth. Becky Lynch's legacy is already cemented. She's already a legend. She's already a trailblazer. She's already one of the most important performers in WWE history. This injury, as devastating as it is, doesn't change that. If anything, it adds another chapter to her story. Because the greatest comebacks come after the hardest falls. Think about the legends who came back from career-threatening injuries. Think about the champions who refused to let their story end on someone else's terms. Becky Lynch is cut from that same cloth. She's not someone who gives up. She's not someone who fades away quietly. The man will be back. Maybe not tomorrow. Maybe not next month. But she'll be back. And when she returns, you better believe she's coming for what's hers. That's what makes this so compelling. We're not watching the end of Becky Lynch's career. We're watching the beginning of her redemption arc. We're watching a hero get knocked down, so we can watch her rise again. Every great wrestling story has adversity. Every legendary performer has faced setbacks. What separates the good from the great is what happens next. And if there's one thing we know about Becky Lynch, it's that she doesn't stay down. So what's next for the man? First, she needs to heal. As much as fans want to see her back in the ring immediately, the most important thing is her health. Professional wrestling demands everything from these performers, and rushing back before you're ready is how careers end permanently. Becky needs time to recover, to rehab, to get back to 100%. And while she's doing that, the women's division will continue to evolve. New challengers will emerge. New champions will be crowned. The landscape will change. But that's actually perfect for Becky's return story. When she comes back, she won't just be returning as a former champion. She'll be returning as a hungry challenger. She'll be the warrior who lost everything and is fighting to reclaim her throne. That's the kind of story that makes for incredible television. Imagine Becky Lynch returning at a major event, making her presence known, and declaring that she's coming for the championship. Imagine the matches, the rivalries, the moments we'll get when the man returns to the ring. And here's the beautiful thing. Becky has already proven she can reach the top once. When she does it again, after overcoming injury, after having to relinquish her title, after fighting through doubt and pain and setbacks, that second climb will mean even more than the first. This isn't the end of Becky Lynch's story. This is just the difficult middle chapter that makes the ending so much sweeter. The forced relinquishment of a championship is one of the most painful moments in wrestling. It's a reminder that these performers are human, that their bodies have limits, and that sometimes the biggest battles aren't fought in the ring but in recovery rooms and physical therapy sessions. Becky Lynch had to give up everything she worked for. She had to hand over her title without getting the fight she deserved. But if there's anyone who can turn this tragedy into triumph, it's the man. So to Becky Lynch, we say thank you. Thank you for everything you've given to this business. Thank you for inspiring millions of fans. Thank you for showing us what it means to fight for your dreams. And we'll be here waiting when you're ready to reclaim what's yours. Alright, Wrestlingverse family, what do you think? How do you see Becky's comeback playing out? Who should she face when she returns? Drop your predictions in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss our latest content. We've got more amazing wrestling content coming your way all week long. This has been Wrestlingverse CC. Until next time, keep watching, keep believing, and keep supporting the wrestlers who give everything for our entertainment.